One of my favorite genres of art is character drawing. Every artist has their own character or OC, especially when they're focused on drawing characters or giving them personalities and backstories. Countless character ideas can be mashed together to create a unique character. Sometimes people will take existing characters and make them slightly different. From gender bending, age, style, personality, and even universe, character design can be anything from the anatomy of a human to that of a monster or an animal. There is no shortage of characters online, and every character design is unique to the artist and their emotions. If you can tell by my sketchbook, character design is my favorite type of art. I can't tell you how many times I've drawn my OCs and some random characters just to experiment with their personalities and clothing design. From the shoulder to half and to full body drawings, I've learned over the years how to craft anatomy that fits my style and my character design that I feel represents me. And I can't tell you how amazed I am by so many other people's drawings of characters, whether it's their own or characters that exist in games, media, and books. I aspire to drawing characters just as good as so many of these other artists, but I still have a long way to go before I can even really capture these artists' character designs, because not every artist is the same with creating people. And that is the beauty of creating characters. Images that can have backstories, emotions, some even have quirks and clothing choices. And to be fair, there are some difficulties in creating characters, such as learning how to do anatomy, learning how clothes works, and lighting, and even how the past of characters affect who they are now, and putting them in chronological order. It can be a lot to make a character, especially if you're going to present them to the public in a book, comic, game, or even movie. Characters can be simple or complicated. They can be heroic or malicious. They can be the villain or the hero or just a side character in your story. It doesn't matter what type of writing or media you're making. Characters have a place in all of them, because the craft of people and characters is one of the strongest forms of art. Hello artists, this is Artistic Sam, and welcome to my channel. As we start this video, I would like to inform you that I have several characters that I love to draw and create backstories for, and I'm willing to share them in another video in the future. But quickly, I would like to ask any of you to share with others the characters you created or enjoy drawing in general, and perhaps explain why you like to draw them. Characters can be a way of expressing ourselves, and the ones we like the most can certainly say something about us. Personally, with my characters, I draw them because they reflect different parts of me, and I've drawn them ever since I was a younger kid, so they're kinda nostalgic too. Anyways, with that out of the way, consider supporting the channel and let's get into the art of characters and the art behind crafting something with human characteristics and personality. OC stands for Original Character, a character that the artist made themselves and has originally come up with. And they could have some influence from other outside sources. Some of my character designs come from media and other OC details that I found intriguing and perfectly fitting. Other ideas come from artists I watch online. It's another good reason to have the internet. When it comes to making characters, there are some basics that every artist follows. One is how the body looks, whether it's more human or animal, whether they have a tail or ears, if they have one eye or thousands. The body and how it's shaped and made is the first thing artists come up with. Along with that, posing. Posing characters is extremely important. Posing shows the viewer what kind of character this is based on body language. What comes after the body is usually the hair and the clothes. Hairstyles can be short, long, curly, straight, braided, or bunned. They can be of any color or highlight, any shape of bangs, from full bangs to a V shape. They can be of any color or multiple colors. They can have a little hair design at the top, which I've seen being called a hog, I think. Or they can have really messy hair with strands in every direction. Just like hair, clothes can be infinite. From shirts, blouses, long sleeves, and tank tops, to skirts, shorts, and pants with belts and buckles. There are multiple designs someone can come up with, and plenty of aesthetic clothing that can help to define a character and how their personality is shown through their style. Dresses are my personal favorite to draw because I can relieve the stress of making the legs perfect and have a beautifully draped dress around them. There is so much more that you can go into a character, and that can outwardly express who they are and what you want them to be. Your OCs can have one or multiple styles, such as I do with mine and their clothing, but I've also noticed some prefer to keep them in the exact same clothing, which is perfectly fine, as I love to see what the artist has deemed perfect for their characters. Another part of characters is names. Naming can be hard for a character, and I'm going to be honest, for me, it's probably one of the hardest. It becomes a lot harder than it needs to be when you're trying to think of a perfect name for a character. It took me a long time to settle on names I liked for my OCs, and I still, to this day, I'm wondering if their names even fit them anymore. Naming characters can be hard, for sure. I do have some tips if you're struggling. One of the things I usually do is Googling, and I basically look up, what my character does or looks like, that, and other stuff that I already have in mind, and then I can go find whatever meaning has a name. And another thing I use is smashing names together or having names with a slightly different spelling. Not like those names, no, I'm sorry to all the kids who are named like this. But, for example, I have a character named Sarah, and it's spelled without the H because I liked it better and it's a bit unique, plus it doesn't kill the name because the H isn't very essential, and it can be spelled without the H. Just saying that making your character's name a bit unique doesn't hurt, unless you spell a name like this. But yes, characters' designs and their names can go hand in hand and can tell who the character is. Having a character you really like will certainly result in you giving them more than just a design and a name. After a while, you'll start coming up with stories for them and traits about them that make them uniquely yours. After all, just like you, characters can have special habits, quirks, personalities, and likes and dislikes. It's a fun detail to add to your character to make them more realistic and more lively. Info that can be included is weight, height, species, favorite things, mention of age, birthdays, family info, relationships, and even an explanation on character design. You can also give them traits to express who they are and what they are like as a character. These personality traits are often things that you can come up with while you're making your character. I can say for sure that I had no clue what my OCs were like till I was done drawing them many times. If you're making a character and you're stressed about traits and information about them, don't worry. Start to draw them out and work your way into character ideas that you like. You have the freedom to change them as you draw, and soon you'll land on a design that reflects traits that fit them perfectly. Character creation takes time, don't rush it. Some people will come up with characters faster than others. Doesn't make them good or bad. It just shows that some people need more thought into creating character traits and details. The most brutal and darkest part of all character creation is their backstory. Everyone is brutal with their characters' backstories, and I do have some of those character backstories as well. Traumatic events are a key essential to artists making characters. And at times, I'm wondering if people are okay out there. Look, characters can reflect their creators, and some of these characters' backstories I've seen on Pinterest and other forms of media. You good out there? Do you need a hug or something? I'm just asking, really, we can talk about things. Of course, I have some dark themes to my characters as well. You know, the classic Disney trope of not having any parental figures. But other than that, I'd say my characters aren't as traumatic as some of these others. It's a good character growth and development, that's for sure. It makes the characters far more likable, and if you understand where they're coming from, but holy cow, calm down. Also, why do some people kill off their characters? That makes me sad. Come on now, you're making it harder on all of us. Despite this, I do see these backstories are interesting and very well fitting with characters. Yeah, not everyone here on Earth indeed gets a perfect life, and many people go through trauma, and that can be reflected through their character creations. I know that characters can't always have a perfect life, and some must have some type of trauma or occurrence in their lifetime that shapes them into what you make them now. And backstories do take a while. I know that people have gone through hundreds of scenarios with their characters and try to fit a good story to them that'll make them interesting, unique, and explain their characters more. Backstories to characters aren't easy, and making events happen in order, you kinda have to make a timeline in your mind when you're thinking about that and how it'll affect your character. And as the years go on, your backstory might make you change your character a little, or a lot. You might just make a whole new character out of them when it comes to discovering what their past is. Every author, artist, and character creator goes through this. It's a part of developing a character. It gives characters more to rely on and more for a person to get to know what character they're looking or interacting with. The best characters of the media have the most intriguing backstory, and if they don't, then their character as now makes them intriguing to people. I love when people write down descriptions of their character's past and then have their character right next to it, showing how their backstory affected how the artist drew them and how they fit their story. I love seeing that people have become invested in their characters, giving them a whole story of the past and even changing it every now and then. A backstory is a life changer for characters, and it can make you an author of characters. Okay, this video does sound like stuff you already know, but I don't think people really focus on what OC creation is. It's more than just designing a character. Your life and your personality and your creative mind can be reflected through these characters. How you view other people in the world can be reflected through the characters you put down. Your characters can be you, or it can be a representation of you. Sure, you might not share the same things or have the same personality as a character you made, but you still made it. You still have that part in you that wants to explore those traits, or wants to be that way, and the way that the character is. Maybe you want to go on adventures your characters go on, maybe you don't. I hope some of you don't. Some of these things are very concerning. Having a character made by you in years or even a day can be a reflection of what you want, see, or desire in the world. It can also be a representation of what you like to see in other people and what you see in other people's characters. Many artists take already existing characters and change them up a bit, doing crossovers and mixing characters together, making other characters and their own characters meet characters that they also like. It can be a full multiverse if you want. And I certainly can't get enough of these. And there should be no judgment on who you make or what fandom of art you're into. Now, if it's inappropriate, yeah, don't join people who think these things are okay. But if it's harmless fun, why not? Art and fandom go together like peanut butter and jelly. Artists expand the fandoms to others and get people invested in them. That's how I found many of my favorite fandoms online. If there is one thing the internet does well, it's sharing. Good news or bad news gets around pretty rapidly. If you post your artwork online, you're more likely for more people to see your work than if you showed them in real life. Though you're more likely to get harassed. But I already explained that. Characters are, of course, one of the most common things to draw and the most common art shown on the internet. And it has been for a long time. Even with no internet, drawing people has been the biggest thing to paint. The most famous painting in the world, the Mona Lisa, is a person. Characters and people, human or not, are, in my words, one of the best forms of art. If not, the best way to express yourself and how you feel. Creating characters isn't easy. Though, whether you have a very complex or well-thought-out character or a simple character you just drew, there is complexity in that. Shading and highlighting in design and foldings, hairs, eyes, and pose. Characters are a big work of art. They are expressive and lively, and they can show off all sorts of emotion and feeling that the artist wants them to. And placing them in backgrounds, well, that just adds to the expression and the livelihood of the character. I'm very proud of people who can add backgrounds to characters. I'm still trying to figure that one out without ruining my characters. So far, it's been the white void for them. And one more thing I want to add about character creating in general is that no matter what your art style is, or no matter what level of art you're at, the characters you make are special. You may not see it as good as others, or you might feel you have the anatomy wrong or the shading wrong, but believe me, I'm still going through that. You don't have to go super deep into backstory or details to make a character. Just have an image in your mind of what you're feeling or how you want something to look, and you can start there. Or the internet has plenty of ideas for you to look at. Characters are important to you, and don't let others who are better than you put you down. You'll get better, no doubt, if you keep trying. And that's all for this video. This one was a bit shorter, and I will be posting slightly less, possibly once or twice a month. I'm doing my best to upstart my channel again and trying to give you guys better quality videos. YouTube is a new thing for me, and I'm doing my best to try and avoid following too big of trends and repeated online arguments. So, if you did enjoy, consider supporting and commenting on what I could do better. And if you have any art critiques to give me, I'm happy to listen and try them out. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll do my best to post soon.